In this video, we will be learning the single crochet stitch. In previous videos, I used a medium size 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm going to continue using that yarn. And I'm also going to be continuing to use the H hook, 5mm. And when we start to crochet, we start with a slip knot. And we're going to be doing a practice swatch. So I just want 10 single crochet, which means we have to do 11 chain stitches. And I will explain that in just a moment. Let's get the chains on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I have 11. I have them fairly loose, nice even tension. And we're going to be doing 10 single crochet across, but we need to get height to go up. Otherwise we'll end up with ski slopes on the edge. We want nice straight edges, so we need an extra chain stitch to get us up one level. I like to think of it as stairs, so we're climbing the stairs. So we're going to skip that chain, and we're going to go in the second one from the hook. We're just going to stick our hook in there. Okay? And then we're going to wrap the yarn around, sort of just lays. We're going to bring up a loop. Okay, so there's 2 loops on the hook now. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through both. That's our first single crochet. Okay, and every single chain stitch that we did is going to get a single crochet. So if we look here, this one we did, it has stuff hanging off of it. That's the single crochet stitch that we just did. So we got to skip that hole because it has stuff attached to it. So we're going to go in the next one. Okay? And we're going to yarn over and bring up a loop. So now there's 2. You yarn over and pull through both. Okay? So we've got 2 single crochets done so far. We're going to go in the third hole. Okay? We're going to bring up a loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? Go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, we're going to do that the whole way across. If your starting chain was too tight, it's going to be very difficult to get your hook in there. That's why we want a loose hook. Now, if you find that you cannot, for the life of you, for whatever reason, get a loose chain, go up a hook size. So if we're using an H, go up to a J to do your starting chain, and then switch back to the H to do the first row. You'll find that will make it a lot easier. We're going in, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll notice I keep the work anchored between my thumb and my first finger. If you're twirling it around your index finger, got that the wrong way, you'll hold it with your thumb and your middle finger. So the motions are exactly the same. You do want to anchor it somehow. Okay, so we are at a good point to count how many we have, make sure we have the right number. So we can start down here and see on the top there's V's. You see the V's? There's one and there's one. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to count those. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one is 10. Okay? So that is our first row. I'm going to grab a stitch marker and then we will continue on to the next row. Okay, I found my stitch markers. I have an orange one and a blue one. So what I am going to do, and I should have done this at the beginning, but I'm going to go ahead and stick a stitch marker on that first stitch that we did, and I'm just going to lock it. Okay, so to do the next row, we need to build the stairs to get to the next level. So we need to chain 1. So we chain 1, and then we're going to turn it. So now our hook is to the right of us, and we see those V's on top. And so we chained 1, we turned. Now we're going to insert the hook in the first stitch. Okay, and same as we did before, we're bringing up a loop, yarn over, and pull it through 2. And this time, I'm going to take a stitch marker. This will help us see our beginning and end. And I'm just going to lock it in place. That way we know where our end is all the time. This is a great tip for beginners. I know when I first started learning to crochet, I always had Christmas trees because I didn't know where to stop and start. So hopefully no one ends up with Christmas trees by using this method. So we're going to put a single crochet in each stitch across. So here's the next one. And if you spread it apart, you can see there's holes in between the stitches. That's where we're going to stick the hook. You see my tension wasn't that great there, so it's a little bit on the loose side. We want to aim for it to be very, very even. You might be faster or slower at this. It's not a competition. Crochet does so much for your health. It can help reduce stress, and it can help prevent mental disease, keep your mind sharp as you age. Okay, so we're coming down to the end. We see we've got one left because we've got the stitch marker on the last one. So we're going to go ahead and put our hook in and put a stitch in where that marker is. Okay, now we're at the end of the row. Alright, I'm going to do 1 or 2 more rows so that you can see and kind of get a good feel for what I'm doing. And in the description of the video, I'm also going to put an easy, simple pattern as well as the abbreviation for single crochet. It's abbreviated SC. So when you're reading a pattern and you see SC, then you know single crochet, which is what we're doing. Alright, so I have the first stitch made, and rather than get another stitch marker, I'm just going to move this one up and put it in that first stitch, as that'll be our stopping point when we come back on the next row. We're planning ahead. Okay, and it will curl when you only have 1 or 2 rows. It's just the nature of the fabric. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull it through. And if you're finding it gets harder and harder, put your stuff down, shake your hands out, you know, go get a drink, go, you know, stretch. Your work will be here when you get back. And so we're doing 1 stitch per single crochet. In, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull it through. And then we've got the stitch marker there. And you can use anything for stitch marker. You could use a piece of yarn, you can use paper clip, use safety pin. They don't have to be official stitch markers. Just chain 1, turn it around. And then I'm going to switch off here. It is a little fiddly, but for beginners, I really like this method because it helps you see where you're supposed to end, and you end up with straighter edges and is a little less frustrating. You can see how it's starting to get nice and straight. So I'm going to put 2 patterns in the comment or the description here, 1 for a scarf and 1 for a dishcloth. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I try my best to respond. Just keep practicing until they get nice and even. Have fun!